Is there a women's section at the Western Wall? Have you ever wondered about the arrangements for women at one of the most significant religious sites in the world? The Western Wall, also known as the Kotel, is a focal point for Jewish prayer and pilgrimage. Yes, there is a designated women's section at the Western Wall. This section is separated from the men's area by a physical partition called a mechitza. This separation is in line with Orthodox Jewish traditions, which have been enforced since Israel took control of the site in 1967. Historically, the idea of a women's section has changed over time. During the Ottoman era, there were no partitions, and men and women often prayed together. However, as the 20th century progressed, especially after Israeli control, the practice of separating men and women became formalized. The women's section is located on the southern side of the wall and is smaller than the men's section. In this women's section, women come to pray, place written prayers in the cracks of the wall, and participate in religious ceremonies. However, the practices allowed in this area have sparked ongoing debates. Groups like Women of the Wall advocate for women's rights to pray aloud, wear prayer shawls, and read from the Torah at the wall. These practices are traditionally reserved for men in Orthodox Judaism. This advocacy has led to legal and social conflicts. Many Orthodox authorities and worshippers oppose changes to the customs observed at the wall. The Israeli government and courts have faced challenges in balancing religious sensitivities with calls for equal prayer rights. As a result, alternative prayer spaces have been created, such as the Robinson's Arch area. This area allows for mixed-gender egalitarian prayer but is separate from the main Western Wall plaza. From a broader perspective, the division of the Western Wall reflects the intersection of religious tradition and social customs. The women's section, while smaller and more restricted, remains an important space for female pilgrims and worshippers. They come to connect with the wall's spiritual significance. The ongoing debates about this section highlight how sacred architecture and religious practices adapt to modern social movements and interpretations. To summarize, the Western Wall does have a women's section that is separated by a partition. This section is smaller and distinct from the men's area. Women pray there, but their prayer practices are regulated, often limiting public reading of the Torah or wearing traditional male prayer garments. Groups like Women of the Wall advocate for expanded prayer rights in this section, facing opposition from traditionalists. The site's architecture and division reflected the customs and dynamics around gender and sacred space. Alternative egalitarian prayer areas exist but are separate from the main wall plaza. This arrangement shows how the Western Wall serves as both a historical and living sacred site, shaped by centuries of tradition and modern challenges.